I would say I'm pretty respectful to almost everyone I come in contact with. I would say I try to, make people feel seen, make people feel heard, ask them some questions about themselves from time to time. And I really try to listen to their answers and, you know, find something they might be good at and give them a little compliment on it or something like that. I do try to do that a lot. But other than that, I don't really want to associate with most people. And if anyone asks me to hang out beyond that, the answer is almost always no, or I just like kind of go, we'll see. And then I just never get back to them. That's just typically what it is, because I realized from an early age that most people just have nothing to offer. Maybe not that early of an age, but I would say early 20s. I just realized that most people have nothing to offer. They have nothing to give. There's no benefit to really being their friend. There's no benefit to associating with them. There's no benefit to being involved with them. They really have nothing, like, even if they wanted to, besides maybe like an act of service, they have nothing to really offer you. I realized this in my early 20s, but I didn't really start like setting vicious, immovable, impregnable values or impregnable boundaries that can't be, moved in any way, shape, or form or infiltrated. And I would say my mid-20s. I really started developing these just like viciously strong boundaries. And now, later, they're pretty robust. Not a lot of people are getting in unless they truly have something to offer. And it was definitely a big shift in my personality, because a lot of what I would try to do was to try to get people to like me or to remember me or want to be friends with me. And so a lot of my personality was based around things like, trying to make jokes with people so that they felt like I was one of the cool guys. And it's not that you don't want to make jokes with people. You do. You want to understand what makes people laugh, what makes people like you. You want to understand these things, because sometimes you do need to flip that switch on a little bit. It should be on to a certain extent anyways, but I stopped really like trying to acknowledge everyone around me and please everyone around me, or like make everyone kind of feel seen, when I just really realized like there's not really any benefit to associating with most people. There just isn't. Like, there were so many vicious examples of this where I just invested so much time into someone and I just realized you have nothing to offer. Like, how was I so delusional to think that you were like, not to be mean, but like you were kind of like really worth something in terms of like what you could offer or what you could do for me or what we could do for each other or the friendship we could have. And I just really had to take a hard look at a lot of people and go, you're not someone who's capable of offering a whole lot, and you're not someone who's capable of bettering my life. I'm capable of bettering your life in every way, shape, and form. I can teach you so many different things. I can teach you a lot about fitness. I can teach you about content creation. I can teach you about social media. I can teach you about fighting. I can teach you about so much stuff. There's almost nothing that most people, and I mean like 95% of people, maybe even up to like 98, can really teach me about anything, right? If you dig deep enough, most people have something you could gain, but you have to like really, really dig. There's not like an obvious value that they have to give you. And you want to associate with people who have obvious things that they could offer you, assuming you're an individual who has things that you can offer other people. So it was definitely a big shift in my personality when I truly realized that. And I truly realized that investing in most people is an absolute waste of time. Again, this doesn't mean that you want to be like mean to people. This doesn't mean that you don't want to acknowledge people or you just want to ignore them and be dismissive. This doesn't mean that. But as far as your personal time and who you invest in, the barriers should be so high that almost nobody can get in. Unless there is a real, discernible, conspicuous, observable value to be gotten from the situation and that they can give you, I wouldn't let them in. And this is different than having like a night out of fun or a night out with a girl or a night out here. It's different than that. This is talking about really letting someone into your life and actually choosing to hang out with them, in your personal time. You should make it very difficult. And you should almost make it so that person kind of has to prove themselves to you. And if you're someone who has the results, people will want to be around you. If you're not, you can't really go on this like, well, you got to prove yourself to me and like you got to show me you're worthy if you're just like some loser who's not doing anything in life. People are going to see that and they're going to be like, no, I'm good. But That was a big realization that I had in my early to mid 20s, and it was very much a core belief shift, because I used to have this value that, like, I need to make everyone like me and I need to make everyone laugh. Like, everyone could offer me something. You never know, like, who you're talking to. And that is true, but most of the time you're talking to losers. Most of the time you're talking to people who don't have anything to offer. You know, you might stumble upon a billionaire at Ralph's trying to get some cereal. It's possible, but the reality is that's very, very rare. And you shouldn't really worry whether the average person you come in contact with likes you or not. And if you have like a business that's based on people liking you, and if like one person in your neighborhood doesn't like you, you're going to lose money now, or they could damage your reputation, you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business. So to end this with some sort of takeaway, I would say that really, really understand and even write down what you want in other people and what you're looking for and what you want in a friend and what are non-negotiables. Really know what they are and understand them for yourself. And this way, when you're networking, even though most networking is bullshit, when you're just out and about meeting people, exchanging energy, you know, and you'll be able to recognize and discern the signs of someone who might be worth associating with. And I share this message after investing and associating with a lot of people for sometimes years that I should not have been. And I just had the realization one day of like, what am I doing? This person is not good for me. They're not going to help me. They're distracting me. And they have no business in my life. They're getting all the benefits from me. I'm getting none from them. There's one that was very recent, about 6 to 8 months ago, where I had to do this to someone. And every time I do, my boundaries, my protection of my energy, my kind of force field of protection of just myself and my ecosystem becomes even more robust, even more integrated, even more tethered, and even more formidable. So don't be afraid to cut people off who truly aren't benefiting you. Obviously, if it's family or something like that, maybe distance yourself. You know, I do think it's a little bit mean to like cut a family member off completely unless they've done something heinous. But really, really distance yourself and try to have conversations with them if you can. But if nothing's coming to it, you know, there does come a point where you got to be like, all right, man, if it's family, you got to be like, all right, well, you don't want to listen. You don't want to do this. I'm going this way. You're acting this way. So you're not really going to see me a whole lot. And then you can respond to them maybe once every couple months or once a year if you want, whatever it is for you. And if it's not your family, if it's friends and other people outside of them, you should do a lot of this, a lot of cutting off. You know, there's that quote, don't switch up on your day ones. Most of your day ones are losers. One of the best things you can do is switch up on your day ones because most of them are losers. And that's just the reality of it. Surround yourself with people who are going to make you better and are going to propel you and aid you in ascending in an upward trajectory. That is all. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you liked it. Comment your thoughts. Tell me what you think. I respond to every single comment. We'll go from there. Thank you.